Probably one of the most famous, if you will, problems with chemotherapy is appetite change. Okay? We all know that chemotherapy is famous for making you sick to your stomach. It doesn't always happen, but there are almost always is appetite changes. Some chemotherapies can even make you hungrier. And is it the chemotherapy? Well, it's the drugs that he's going to have to give you. It might be the steroid that he had to add. There's different things that he might have to do. So there's some people that fight weight gain while they're on chemotherapy, and there's a lot of people that fight weight loss. But appetite change happens a lot. So how do we deal with that? Well, remember when we start a program, when you talk to your coach advocate, we always talk about building a program. And we talk about the first few weeks of our program, we talk about building a base of practice. And the reason why is because you got to get practice established. Why do you say practice? Because practice means you have to do it. You have to force yourself to do it. You do this certain routine, you start establishing routine, you do it every day, you have how your week lays out, and you're doing it all week long, and you're establishing this practice. Now, as you establish practice, you'll start to go into what we call automaticity or becomes automatic, okay? What does that mean? Now, you're used to the fact that when you get up in the morning, you need to do a quick set. You get up in the morning, that's when you take your walk because you love to get the fresh morning oxygen outside. You start to get a routine down. This is really important when it comes to appetite change because we're going to ask you to continue to eat when you don't feel like eating, okay? And we're going to try to work around it the best we can. You might find, again, we have 5-6 meals a day, snacks, whatever you want to call them, that you're eating throughout the day. You're going to find that certain things work. And chemo is almost like women that are pregnant. Sometimes all of a sudden they love the coffee and now they don't love coffee. Things can change. You're going to find that happen in your appetite. Okay, things that you love, they don't taste well. So you have to experiment. You got to be creative. The teammates got to go out and look around and find out what it is that you do like to eat. And you got to keep in mind what is it you're trying to get in. Like when we talk about anemia, trying to get a lot of protein. We want to keep our fiber level high as long as possible. Why do I say that? Because you'll see later there's some times where we want to get the fiber level low. But for the start, we want to get the fiber level high, make sure we're getting lots of fiber, okay? So, and here's what we say. Yeah, there's supplements and you can get different supplements, and I personally like those greens and reds. I think those are really good because I think they're pretty natural. I found with many patients taking pills, it's hard on their stomach. I'm not a big supplement person. What I like to supplement with is fruit and vegetables. Well, I don't really like fruits and vegetables. Well, get creative. How are the different ways that we can change fruits and vegetables to make it so you do like it? I know some people that don't like broccoli, and so they'll do is they'll take it and they'll grind it up, make it into a puree that ends up being kind of like a broccoli soup. And they add certain things and it works for them. Get creative. Okay, there's lots of things that your coach advocate can talk to you about, lots of things your doctor or the nutritionist at your doctor's office can talk to you about. But you got to be creative and you got to prepare. You don't wait till your appetite changes. Start preparing as you go so that your 5-6 meals work for you. Another thing that helps your appetite when you're going through this is what we call in our program FLPA. You'll hear us refer to that. Free life physical activity. What that means is it doesn't mean going to the gym. Nothing wrong with going to the gym. If you can, that's great. But it means moving, okay? We talk about it all the time, movement, movement, movement. You're probably starting to think, boy, that big dummy, all he talks about is moving. It's important. Our bodies need to move. And with your appetite, if you start getting your routine built from your practice down, that you get up, you take your walks, you move, you do your quick sets, you play with your dog, you play with your grandchildren, you play with your dad, whatever it is, but you get your movement, you're going to find that sometimes the FLPA, the Free Life Physical Activity, can keep your appetite so that you can take in the food that you need. So I find patients that have found that if they'll just go for their half-hour walk, some of them walk for an hour, some of them ride an exercise bike for 20 minutes, right before they eat, they can go ahead and eat. But what I'm going to ask you to do is eat. Don't let yourself get into a point where you're not eating. And remember, these things can be combined. You can be anemic, you can have appetite changes, you can be depressed. All these things can kind of gather up on you. So you have to push back. Have structure to handle these things and do what you know is right. Not just what you want to do, but do what you know is right. Don't we all wish we knew that all our life to do what's right? But you do these things, and then remember, you got an ace in the hole. You got a superstar that can help you at any time. He's your doctor. Talk to your doctor, talk to your nurse, and they can come in and they can say, okay, here are some different things that they can do to help you with your appetite, okay? And just like we were talking with anemia, they'll come up with some things that can really assist you. We're talking about be creative here, and I want you to be able to go onto ourhomegame.com and look around and talk to other patients and talk to your coach advocates and look in the forums because you'll get all kinds of great suggestions. Just for instance, sometimes when they give you chemotherapy, you get to where everything tastes more metallic. So here's a little suggestion. Use plastic forks, use plastic utensils. It makes a big difference for some people and how they eat. Even in the drinking, ceramic versus glass versus whatever, it's how it's given to you. I have some patients that are extremely into how the food is delivered makes it different with their appetite. So be creative in every way possible.